Welcome back to Worldview, and apologies for the James Earl Jones sounding voice, but as you can tell, my health is not at 100% today, but we're still going to do the Monday line. UK and US Wingnuts love Koolaid. Now, last week on my David Pakman Show segment, we talked about UK political parties, and I compared the right-wing UKIP, or UK Independence Party, to the US Tea Party. I even said the even farther right BNP, a British National Party, was our equivalent to the Ku Klux Klan. Well, needless to say, there was a backlash. A viewer via email accused Pakman. Now, this is a man who debated and brilliantly shot down the very hateful Westboro Baptist Church Phelps family on air. He accused him of not wanting to get the real story out, and he insisted that UKIP is a mainstream party, which explains its high and growing membership, and that the vast majority of Brits share UKIP's opinion on leaving the EU. All right, let's unpack that a bit, shall we? Now, UKIP has its moment in the sun every 2 to 3 years. A small number of local elections held across parts of the United Kingdom. In this case, there were 34 of them. And they also do well, ironically, in the quadrennial, every 4-year European parliamentary elections. It's really bizarre since they don't want to be a part of Europe. Now, in a typical national election, 65 to 68% of people registered to vote turn out to cast a ballot. And in that election, UKIP and the BNP are always non-factors. They don't even register. But on Thursday, 2 May, 34 local councils and unitary authorities voted. None of them were in London. Some saw this election as a referendum on the current national Tory/Lib Dem government, but be careful. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Yes, indeed, UKIP can celebrate having won 146 seats, 26% of those that were contested. But hang on a bit. Before you pop the champagne cork, out-of-government Labour Party gained almost 300 seats, and the Tories holding a huge lead despite losing 335 seats. The real disaster was for the Liberal Democrats, who lost 124 seats, almost the entire amount that the UKIP party gained. Now, in this biennial attempt at legitimacy, UKIP did better than expected. So they and the rabid Fleet Street media pack of dogs tried to spin winning over a pint into anything other than the victory over voter apathy that it was. Simply, when 60 to 70% of registered voters stay home, this is neither a mandate nor admission that your party's gone mainstream, but that requires rational thought. And sadly, trying to be rational with a Tea Party or UKIP member requires one to enter a different universe than the one in which we reside. Anyone wishing to be first in line to drink that Koolaid? Now, in examining why a small group of angry, motivated conservative voters came out in these off elections, the issues cited, not surprisingly, had nothing to do with any item a local council government can control. A pre-election YouGov poll cited immigration, Europe, and dissent as the reasons why people backed that Eurosceptic party. Those who voted for UKIP said they want immigration reduced, that was 76%, want Britain to leave the EU, 59%, unhappy with the major parties, 47%, unhappy with David Cameron and his government, 25%. They said that UKIP reflects my personal values and beliefs, 20%. They had a positive impression of leader Nigel Farage, 15%. They wanted to send a message, 14%. Unhappy over gay marriage, 12%. A new party deserves a chance, 9%. And UKIP would run the country well, an astonishing 8%. Now, think back a bit to the 2010 and 2012 Tea Party primary elections in the USA. Remember how Tea Party groups primaried sitting U.S. senators or representatives to, quote, send a message? Well, the turnout rarely exceeded 20%, and the Tea Party candidate always won the primary. Then, in the run-up to the general election, people examined these wingnuts for who they really were, what they stood for, and then even in the red states, the Democrat won in the general election. In one case, the incumbent ran a write-in candidacy, and for the first time in the history of the U.S. Senate, won without being on the ballot. That's how frightened Alaska voters were of their Tea Party challenger. And it's the same in the UK. UKIP does well in the local EU parliamentary elections because no one is harmed. Nigel Farage gets the press pack to join him for a celebratory pint, and for a few days no one remembers his racist, xenophobic party platform. UKIP sounds reasonable until they no longer have to. Their supporters drink the Kool-Aid without ever looking at maths. There's a magical place between a wingnut's ears where only a single input cable enters, Fox or Sky News, and it's connected 24/7, 365, spewing vitriol and hate about everything from President Obama to the Labour Party. The only blessing? This time, the even more hateful BNP did not win a single seat. Indeed, it lost 3. UKIP and BNP have similar xenophobic racist roots. The Brit versions would arm themselves to the teeth, if they could, like the Tea Party. They've zero tolerance for government. Even if they're living on benefits or Social Security in the USA, they fail to see themselves as part of the government spending they say they hate. They're content to spew simpleton talking points like robotic automatons. Build a fence around the borders, post armed guards, even electrify it. That'll keep all brown-skinned men, both Mexican and Arab, from taking our jobs, because there's no good that comes from any of them. That's the universal far-right conservative rallying cry, and it is disgusting. When their branding turns bad, just like with oil companies, they talk about how much good they do. When they have a good showing in a 25 or 30% election turnout every few years, they talk about becoming mainstream, when the reason they do well is that people cannot be arsed to vote, as I said 2 weeks ago. When they win, they put rational-sounding people to speak with the media. Well-trained, they know they have to sound reasonable on election night. They make very subtle distinctions on election night. We're not against Europe. We joined a European Economic Union, not a governing one, and Brussels should not have the right to tell a sovereign state what they can or cannot do. Now that's just red meat for the conservative base. Screw responsibility. We want to sell to the EU and not follow any damned rules. That's the real deal. The platform's reduced to talking points. Get us out of Europe now. Their US Tea Party compatriots demand no new taxes and show us your birth certificate. Low information voters buy it, and only they are the ones that show up to vote. No one has to ever give a reason or a detailed program. Witness the do-nothing 113th U.S. Congress. They just tried to repeal Obamacare for the 38th time, and they're focused 24/7 on scandals and investigations while they insist they're all about jobs, Benghazi, jobs, jobs. Oh, and as for the last bit of nonsense from the emailer, voters do not favor leaving the EU. Indeed, The Guardian wrote this past week that young voters 18 to 34 are overwhelmingly in favor of staying in the Union. They like to travel, the ability to work, live in 25 countries in a single currency. So like the U.S. Republican Tea Party, it is the establishment, old, white, racist party core that continues to fight changing demographics deep inside the recesses of the GOP-T, the Tory, and UKIP parties, and they do so at their very peril. When you have no answers, it's much easier to extend pointed fingers of blame, you choose which one, than do anything about it. Then Nigel and Nick, UKIP and BNP, John and Eric, US GOP-T, have already figured it out. They don't have to do anything but drink the Kool-Aid.